Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rant? Back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Got another great video for you guys today. As usual, you guys know the deal, man. We're here for the education, right? We're here to tell the facts, and it's about the truth, right? We're trying to put things in perspective so that you can have an informed opinion. You form your opinion off of the facts, off of reality. That's the only way you can have an opinion. You cannot form opinions off of narratives, off of lies. You can't do it because your opinion will be skewed. That's all we ask on this channel is the truth, guys. That's all I do here. I'm not lying about these guys. I'm not bashing them. I'm putting things in perspective. If people didn't continue to bash Michael Jordan and his era and even the past eras, we would not need to do this. But unfortunately, this is what they do. And I want to thank you guys for all your love, man. Everybody across the states, everybody across the world, man. My goodness, guys, I am humbled. Much respect to all you guys. And I want to send a special thanks out to, make sure I get this right, to my man Stan 2537. Stan 2537 for the super thanks, man. I am truly humbled, man. Thank you very much. I went dark on you. Thank you very much to Stan 2537. He left a note saying, a little something to keep the education going. That's a great comment, man. Thank you very much, Stan. You get it. It's about the education here. Educating you guys on the facts. So thank you. Much respect to Stan, man. I'm truly humbled by all the support that you guys have given me, man. Donating your hard-earned money. Much respect, man. Thank you, Stan, man. And in this video, we're going to speak about LeBron James and his single-game highs. You guys have heard of a single-game high. We're going to talk about it in this video. And how LeBron James' single-game highs are really not that impressive when you think about it and him being called the greatest all-around player in NBA's history. And you guys know what to do, man. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, when we think about LeBron James, right, and the Michael Jordan debates, and even LeBron James in general, when they're speaking about this man, right, they're always talking about the stats, right? And we hate this, right? They'll just pump up LeBron James' stats, right? I did a video about this, how LeBron James will be celebrated for his stats, right? And other players will be diminished for their stats, or they will not be given any credit like LeBron James is, right? And we talked about the turnovers, right? And the triple doubles, right? And just LeBron James' overall numbers, right? They'll always point to his stats, no matter whether he wins or loses. Only for him. Where other players in NBA's history, if they've lost, things like that, they'll point to them, right? And they won't say, oh, well, he averaged this, and they lost. It wasn't his fault. No, only LeBron James is covered for that way, right? With the excuses, with the stats. However, when people like me and others, we talk about LeBron James and we say things like LeBron James is not the greatest all-around player of all time, right? And we say things like Michael Jordan was a greater all-around player. There's nothing that LeBron James can do on the basketball court better than Michael Jordan. It's just the facts, guys. This is not hate, man. It's not. It's the fact. If you watch the game, the video proof will tell you easily that Michael Jordan could shoot the ball better. He had better handling of the ball, right? I'll even say he was a greater passer. He was a much greater playmaker than LeBron James. Rebounding, Michael Jordan's a better rebounder than LeBron James. A better defensive player, that's Michael Jordan. A better leader, that's Michael Jordan. Able to do more with less, that's Michael Jordan. Right? All the aspects of the NBA. Right? All the aspects and the attributes that contribute to you being a great player. Michael Jordan is just better than LeBron James at these things. That does not diminish LeBron James, but we're just trying to put things into perspective here. As usual, LeBron James is not on Michael Jordan's level. Once again, that's not an insult to LeBron James. But when we think about a single game high, right, we talk about stats and we think about them in a certain way, right? We tell you guys that stats are not the end-all, be-all, and sometimes stats don't tell the whole story. So when we think about stats and we think about LeBron James, you guys have heard, once again, a single game high. It's the highest you've recorded in any stat for one single game. It's your high, right? That is a pretty good indicator of what you do great, right? So, for example, when we think about the highest scoring games in NBA's history, who do we think about? We think about Will Chamberlain, right? We think about Michael Jordan. We think about Kobe Bryant, right? Why do we think about these guys? Because they were potent offensive threats, right? A David Thompson, right? These guys are potent offensive threats, right? Kobe Bryant scored, 81 points in a game. Will Chamberlain, we all know, scored 100 in a game. But Michael Jordan scored, 69 points in a game. When we think about these things, right, those are single game highs. That goes to show how potent these guys were offensively. We think about rebounding the basketball, and you look at the top rebounding games in NBA's history, right? And you see guys like, once again, Will Chamberlain and Bill Russell and Nate Thurman, right? And Bob Pettit. You think about these guys, right? You think about the Charles Barkleys and the Karl Malones, right? The Hakeem Olajuwons, right? You think about some of these guys, these great rebounders in NBA's history with some of these single game highs. These guys, what, 40, 50 rebounds, 30 rebounds in a game. Even someone like a Kevin Love, right? Who they'll try to diminish, has a 31 rebound game, right? That shows that he was a potent rebounder, right? Guys like Dennis Rodman, right? That shows their prowess at certain aspects, right? We think about assisting, Magic Johnson, right? Having all these assists, right? Guys who have 20 plus assists in a game, right? We think about all these numbers. These are the single game highs. We think about steals in a game, right? I believe Kendall Gill has the most steals in one single game with 11. Right, we think about some of these guys. Michael Jordan having 10 steals in a game, right? Tied for second place with a bunch of guys at 10 steals. But when you think about single game highs, LeBron James is not at the top of any of those lists. He's nowhere near them. He's not in top 20 in any of those lists I just mentioned. Not in assists in a single game, right? They'll tell you that he's one of his great passers, one of the all-time great passers. But yet when you look at his high for a single game, he's nowhere near it. Nowhere near the top guys. Even someone like a James Harden, a Russell Westbrook, have had more assists in a single game than LeBron James, right? And they'll tell you he's a pass-first player. So then why is he not in the top 4 or 5 guys in assists in a game? He's never had 20 assists in a game or 22 assists in a game. He's never done that. When we think about rebounding the basketball, right, they'll tell you LeBron James is an all-around player. So he must be a great rebounder. He's the greatest all-around player of all time, they'll tell you. So he must be a very excellent rebounder. He's a poor rebounder, right? We've talked about this on this channel. Once again, this is not a hate on LeBron James, but LeBron James is a poor rebounder for someone who's 6'9", 260, whatever he is, right? Always flexing. The man gets no offensive rebounds because that takes effort and hustle. He doesn't hustle for rebounds. The man last night just had, 12 rebound game, 0 offensive rebounds. All defensive rebounds that he barely jumps for. This has been LeBron James' entire career. He collects rebounds, easy rebounds. But he's a poor rebounder for his size, for his position. So when we look at the rebounding numbers, he's not in any of those top rebounding numbers. He's never had 25 rebounds in a game or 30 rebounds in a game. He's nowhere close. Nowhere close. He just had his first 20 rebound game. When? Last season. In his 20th season. Right, so he's an all-time great rebounder. Okay, so scoring the basketball, he's definitely got to be one of the top 5 or 10 guys at game points in a single game because he is the all-time points leader. Wait, but he's not. He's nowhere near the top of that list. Once again, you have guys like Will Chamberlain, right? Kobe Bryant, David Thompson, right? Damian Lillard scored 70 points in a game. Devin Booker scored 70 points in a game. Michael Jordan, 69. Michael Jordan, I believe, is number 14, or I think number 14 out of the top scoring games in NBA's history with that number 69, or with that 69 total. But Michael Jordan had several points, several games in the 60s, right? He's got some of the most 60-point games in NBA's history. I think he has, 4 60-point games in his career, I believe. LeBron James is one 60-point game. I think he scored 61 points. Is his career high, which is good. No doubt about it. 61 points is a very impressive mark. However, when we think about the history of the NBA, it's not that impressive. Once again, I told you, he's not in the top 20. I don't even believe he's in the top 50 in most points scored in a single game. LeBron James. When we think about blocks, is LeBron James one of the top block men in NBA's history? No, he's nowhere near that top list of blocks in a single game. Michael Jordan's had more blocks in a game than LeBron James. All right, let's go to steals. Right, LeBron James is an amazing athlete. He's the greatest all-around player. So he must have created a lot of steals in a single game. Right, he must have had one game where he had a bunch of steals. He's LeBron James. No, he never had 10 steals in a game. Michael Jordan's done that multiple times. He's tied for second place, Michael Jordan, with 10 steals in a game. LeBron James nowhere near the top 20. Nowhere near it. I don't even believe he's in the top 100 in steals in a single game. I think his high is 7? That's not good. So when we think about all of these things, right? We take all those, right? Points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and we think about this. LeBron James is nowhere near the top 20 in any one of these aspects of the NBA. These are stats, right? That his fans always want to pump up. But you can clearly see that LeBron James, as much as they want to say he's the greatest all-around player and he does everything at a high level, LeBron James does not do that. He is about average at everything, or he's good at a lot of things, but not great at them, right? Yeah, he's a really good scorer, but he's not a great scorer, which is why he only has one scoring title. Russell Westbrook has two. How does Russell Westbrook have more scoring titles than LeBron James? But they'll tell you he's a great scorer, right? Because he has the all-time record. Once again, that points to his consistency and his longevity, being able to score 27 points a game for a lot of years. But once again, he was never a great scorer in his era because he wasn't able to capture scoring titles, right, more than one time, even though he told us he could if he wanted to, right? And I told you, they'll say he's a pass-first player, but then when we point to the assist numbers, he's nowhere near the top assist man. Nowhere. Even in assists per game, LeBron James is not in the top 20. Ricky Rubio averaged more assists per game than LeBron James. Right? So we must think about these things and look at numbers a certain way. And remember that numbers are not all that matters. Because you can clearly see by the game highs, right? The single game highs of LeBron James' career is not impressive. They're not impressive. Not at all. Rebounding, he's a poor rebounder. I told you, he can't even get steals at a high level. What is his average for his career? 1.5? That's not good for someone of his stature, who's supposed to be his great athlete. He averages 1.5 steals. Can't even average 2 steals a game. He's only done that, once in his career. 2 steals a game. How many steals he had in one game? His game high, I think it's 7. That's not great. Yeah, it's pretty good. But once again, I told you, he's good at a lot of things, great at nothing. Which is why, once again, he has 1 assist title, but they tell you he's a pass-first player? Really? I don't understand that. 1 assist title. Russell Westbrook, once again, has 3 assist titles. James Harden has more assist titles than LeBron James. But they tell you he's a pass-first player. No, only 1 assist title. And that was during the bubble. Right? How many assists has he had in one game? What's his single game high? It's nowhere near the top guys. Nowhere near it. Go into the history books, guys, and do your research and look. The single game highs by LeBron James exposes him as not being great at any one aspect of basketball, but being good at a lot of things. Meanwhile, when we think about Michael Jordan, guys, right? Michael Jordan has the highest points per game in NBA's history. LeBron James has nothing. What does he average that's the highest in the NBA's history? Literally nothing. His scoring average is 5th or 6th in NBA's history? Rebounding average, come on, man. He's not even in the top 100 in rebounds per game. And I told you, in assists per game, he's like number 22 or 23 or something like that. So he's nowhere near the top of any one of these aspects. Steals per game? He's nowhere near the top in steals per game. Blocks per game? No. So where is LeBron James' greatness lie? You know where it lies, ladies and gentlemen? When we go to the turnovers. When we go to turnovers in a single game, LeBron James is in the top 20 of that. Isn't that interesting, ladies and gentlemen? One of the things that we always point out, right? We point out about LeBron James is his turnovers. They never talk about it on the media. The mainstream media never bring up his turnovers, right? Even though the man's approaching 5,000, right? That's the only stat that LeBron James is in the top 20 in for a game high. Is turnovers in a single game, right? I think he's had 10 or 11 turnovers in a single game before? That's LeBron James, right? This is what we point and this is what we talk about. He's great at turning the ball over, right? And he's good at everything else. Isn't that interesting, guys? The turnovers, right? That's the only one where he's high on the list in a single game high is in turnovers. And then we look at the all-time turnovers. It's LeBron James. He's the king. Right? He averages almost 4 turnovers a game for his career. The man's never adapted. He's never learned, developed any kind of handling skills. None of that stuff. All these years, still turn the ball over. Look at this season alone. The man's averaging what, 6, 7 turnovers? 5, 6 turnovers, whatever it is. Only 4 games in, 5 games in. That's crazy. So when we think about the numbers, right, his fans always want to pump up LeBron James stats, right? We talk about this stuff, right? The numbers. But they never want to point out certain numbers, right? Or certain aspects of these numbers. And they think that the numbers is all that matters. So they'll excuse the losses, right, with the numbers. But when you think about the game highs, the single game highs for LeBron James, once again, that points to him not being potent in any one aspect of the NBA. When we think about scoring for Michael Jordan, right, Michael Jordan is considered the greatest scorer of all time. Why is that? Well, he has 69 points in a game, right, which is very impressive. But who has the highest playoff score in NBA's history? That's Michael Jordan with the 63 points against the Boston Celtics in 1986. That's the most points scored in a playoffs ever in NBA's history, guys. Ever. Not Will Chamberlain. No one. It's Michael Jordan. Not LeBron James. Michael Jordan. Right? So there's clear evidence that shows that Michael Jordan was potent as a scorer. Right? The highest points per game in NBA's history. Right? One of the highest outputs in NBA's history. The highest playoff output in NBA history. LeBron James doesn't have the highest rebound output in NBA history or in the playoffs. He doesn't have the highest scoring output in the playoffs or in regular season NBA history. He doesn't have the highest assist numbers in NBA's history in the playoffs or in the regular season. And Michael Jordan, you think about the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan averaged over 11 assists per game in the 91 NBA Finals. The highest assist average for a non-point guard. That's Michael Jordan, not LeBron James, who's a pass-first player. The single game highs expose LeBron James, right? Because once again, a single game high, what that does is it shows and highlights, right, how potent some of these players in NBA's history were at certain aspects of the game, right? So you see who the great rebounders were, right? These guys who were putting up all these crazy rebounding numbers, right? You can clearly see these guys there. You think about the great shot blockers, right? We know they didn't keep shot blocking until later on and steals until later on. But when you look at those numbers, you see the guys who are known for being shot blockers on those lists. They're great shot blockers, right? Hakeem Olajuwon, right? Dikembe Mutombos, right? The Mark Eatons, right? These guys were great shot blockers. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? David Robinson. They're on those lists. They're up there. They have game highs. Right, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson recording quadruple doubles. Guys like Tim Duncan. These guys know how to block shots. Kevin Garnett, Ben Wallace, Dwight Howard. These guys were great shot blockers, right? That shows their prowess in that area. Right? We think about passing, and we think about the all-time great passers in NBA's history, right? There's a lot of guys on that list, man, that were great passers. They average more assists than LeBron James. Their game highs are more impressive than LeBron James. Right? Magic Johnson, John Stockton, Scott Skiles. Right? Kevin Porter, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. These guys have higher assist outputs than LeBron James. But he's a pass-first player. Right? The Jason Kidds, the Steve Nashes, Mark Jacksons. Right? These guys were on that list, right? They were great passers, right? They were pass-first players, not LeBron James, which is why he's not on that list. Nowhere near the top 20, 30, 40, 50 guys for assists in a game. And like I said, his scoring is not like that. It's not. How many 50-point games does LeBron James have? How many 40-point games does LeBron James have? Right? He's played in so many games. Right, they'll tell you he's this great scorer, but he's nowhere near Michael Jordan in 40 or 50-point games. Nowhere near him. Nowhere near him. Because he's not as potent as some of these guys, right? I'll give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. So Donovan Mitchell, guys, right, he plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers now. And in his first season on the Cleveland Cavaliers was what? I believe last season was his first year on the Cavaliers. In his first season, guys, on the Cavaliers, he had more 40-point games than LeBron James ever had. Think about that. He had more 40-point games in one season than LeBron James ever had in one season for the Cavaliers. He broke LeBron's record. I think LeBron James's record was like, what, 7 games And I think and Donovan Mitchell had about like 9 games or 11 games, whatever it was. It was a low number. By comparison, Michael Jordan, who has the Bulls record for 40-point games in a season, is like 35 or something like that, guys. Some ridiculous number of games. That's what we're talking about when we're saying LeBron James is not potent like that on the offensive end. Right? We say he's not an all-time great scorer like these top guys. Right? He don't have the 40, 50-point games, the 60-point games. Where's his 70-point game? Right? Guys in his era have been able to do that, right? Because scoring is out of control now. Like I said, guys like Devin Booker, Damian Lillard have scored 70 points in a game. I believe even Donovan Mitchell might have scored 70 points in a game. LeBron James' single-game stats are not impressive. His blocks in a game, his high, is not impressive for someone his size. His steals for a single-game high are not impressive. His rebounds, not impressive. His assist numbers, not impressive for a pass-first guy. And his scoring numbers, his game high of 61, although it sounds impressive when you compare it to the NBA's history, it's not. There have been many, many guys that have scored way more points than LeBron James in a single game. Pistol Pete Maravich. So as you guys can see, the stats are not always what tells the whole story. And this is what we're talking about when we hear LeBron James fans always bring up his stats. LeBron James is good at a lot of things, but he's not great at any one aspect of the NBA, of basketball. He's not. He's not a great scorer, right? Not as great as some of these other guys. He has one scoring title. One. He's not a great rebounder. He's not a great assist man. He's got one assist title. God, I told you even Russell Westbrook has more. But they always talk about Russell Westbrook as garbage, right? He always turns the ball over. Pretty sure LeBron James turns the ball over too. That's the only category, guys, that he was in the tops in, was turnovers. You guys know the deal, man. Once again, it's not hate. We're telling the facts here, man. And the fact remains, LeBron James is good at a lot of things. He is. But he's not great at any aspect of that, right? He's not the greatest all-around player of all time. He's not even close. There are many, many players in NBA's history who are better all-around games than LeBron James. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. Just the way it goes, man. There are many other guys. Kobe Bryant. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.